It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Tuesday show, July 25th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you are watching live. However, you are watching or listening Woodward Sports, we absolutely appreciate you. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my brother? Good to
You,
see you.
baby.
Been a couple of days since I've seen you. Good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend.
Oh, man,
Good
I'm
weekend.
still coming off cloud 9 or 10 or whatever cloud I was on.
You got to tell the people about the concert.
I was at Snoop Dogg on Sunday.
You're probably still engulfed in the clouds.
Little Snoop Dogg, Lil Wiz Khalifa.
Okay.
Too short. Oh, yeah. You know what? Dog
Khalifa.
Pound 420.
Did you-
Lil Warren G, regulator.
Now, I told you last year I went to Pine Knob, and I said Pine Knob has gotten to this space where it's free and it's full of cannabis smoke.
Oh,
so was
man.
I correct? Was I correct in
Not
my
only were you
assessment?
correct, it might have been the most spot-on thing you've
Yeah.
ever said. Bullseye. Most accurate thing you've
Yeah.
ever said in your life. I mean, it was just a cloud of haze. I mean, I was sitting there all high from the contact.
You was getting that contact.
Oh, my goodness. But it was fun, man. Wiz Khalifa. Snoop is separate.
Yeah.
Put him in a separate category. Icon, okay?
Right.
Wiz Khalifa, this guy, is so entertaining and plays to the crowd so well. I want to go see this guy again
Yeah, Wiz is
by
good.
himself.
He does a good job of playing to the audience, playing to his crowd. He has a huge fan, cult following base, and he plays to them. He's not necessarily the best in terms of creating lyrics for a song, but he creates great hooks and he creates great energy, man. That's all people want.
Yep.
People aren't really listening to words anymore. It's sad. People are listening to the hooks and people listen to the beats and they just want a good vibe. And Wiz Khalifa, like you said, I've seen him a couple times. That vibe you get from
That's
there,
it.
you leave feeling good.
That is it.
Like you feel good the whole time. You leave feeling good, and you like concert was 2 days ago, but you're still
man.
floating a little bit.
Oh,
Gotta
man.
love those type of concerts.
Still smiling, Tom Mazawey.
Hey, bro. I'm happy that you're back. Bray, welcome in. A lot of stuff to talk about today, but this weekend, as you were going away, we got the pleasure of having to watch your kids.
Yes.
All right? My girls were watching your kids. And they were over having a swim at Uncle Maz's pool. We had dinner together, and Lydia looks at me and says, "You should have seen the way my dad dressed." I'm like, "What did he wear?" I don't know. He's just wearing all this weird clothes and stuff. And so I looked at your picture. Did you have your hat backwards?
I had a hat backwards,
I don't know.
the
Did you
tracksuit
have
on, the big chain.
Did you have a chain on too?
Yeah.
You had a tracksuit.
So your kids looked at me like,
Oh, my
they're like,
God.
my dad dressed so weird.
So you dressed up like it was Halloween
Oh,
for an
man.
actual live
For me-
concert?
oh, man.
Live. I wish you had the pictures of that.
I'll send it to the group.
Ryan, as I'm asking this question, man, I want to ask you too. So I started working out again, like just swimming, kind of easing into it, getting into swimming. And I'm working at the YMCA. It's part of the NFL alumni package. You get to work at the Y. I don't have to pay all this money to work a lifetime.
As long as you don't swim with Obama's chef.
No, not at all. Not at all. And Ryan, a lot of older folks work out at the YMCA. Like, this is very true. And to this day, it's still true. And in the morning, it's the majority of old folks. Ryan, I just got to ask you this question. Maybe I should phrase it to Maz because he's a little older than us. At what age do men just say to hell with it? They no
don't
longer
give a
care.
Yep.
And they just, like, I was talking to this guy in conversation this morning before I got in the pool. I think he's a retired attorney.
Butt naked.
You already
probably.
know.
Yeah,
Like, but he like walked up on me. We're having conversation, but it was like no warning.
Right.
He didn't give me the warning.
No
Like,
towel?
Yeah. No,
Oh,
he had a
geez.
towel on, but then he
Okay.
just derobed
Right.
as he was
Oh,
talking
God.
He
to me.
didn't give a care in the
it's
world.
just balls everywhere, man. I just don't understand old guys. Like, at what age do you
I
just
don't
say,
know.
I don't care about the sanctity of what other guys in the locker room? I gotta walk in there like I'm Ray Charles trying to get to my locker, get my stuff on, or dress in the bathroom. I mean, it's
Seriously, man.
At what age does that happen? I don't give an AF.
I don't know when you cross over. I don't know
Yeah.
when you do that. But at some point, you just, whether it's not wearing clothes, whether it's wearing clothes and just wearing like just whatever kind of clothes.
Just put
not
anything
caring.
together.
Put
Like, who put that
insert
combo
topic here.
together?
You just don't care.
Like, man, I just. You got to talk to your fellow brother, man. You got to tell him start putting clothes on at the
I'm
Y,
telling you, man, I barely get undressed
Jesus.
on my own shower. Never mind walking
Don't
around naked
understand
in a
it.
men's locker room.
There you go.
Oh, this is a picture from the party?
That's it. Me in the tracksuit. So I cheated a little bit, gang. So
I got to get you right, man.
Yeah,
I got to work with you.
I cheated a little bit. So everybody was making fun of me for what I was wearing to the Dave Matthews concert. They thought I looked like a banker. I was going to the bank or something like that. So I was like, I'm not going to be outdone here at Snoop. So I just went to Amazon and I put Snoop Dogg concert clothes. And you should have seen some of the stuff that come up. But that tracksuit came up. And then the chain, and I thought I was going to be cool in the chain. About 500 people had that chain.
Hold on. No. We're gonna rewind this track a little bit.
You should have worn a Martha Stewart T-shirt or something.
You typed in Snoop Dogg concert.
That's it. You should have seen what come up.
You do realize you got a brother that's 40 that's a brother. You could have called me, yo, B, when I went to this concert.
I know,
Oh,
man.
my God.
Oh, man. It was great, though. We were having a good time.
Take advantage of your resources. Take advantage of your resources.
Well, we were having a good time.
That's fun. Looked a lot of fun.
JB is with us. Parker is with us. We got a big show for you today. Lots of Lions news to get to, including Jameson Williams not practicing for at least a couple of days. We'll get you the latest on him. But, Bray, we have got to start with this expected suspension of Jim Harbaugh by the NCAA. According to reports, Austin Meek was the first to report it.
From The Athletic.
Michigan writer for The Athletic. He says that Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended for 4 games and 1-game suspensions for Sharon Moore and Grant Newsom as part of a negotiated resolution to the NCAA as far as its infractions case. First reported, I should say, by Yahoo's Ross Dellinger. We saw it with Austin Meek. Angelique Shingelis from the Detroit News. Yeah. I want to read for you some of just get the nuts and bolts out there, and then we can comment on it, guys.
Okay.
This is a statement from Tom Mars. Again, this from Angelique in the Detroit News. Tom Mars is Jim Harbaugh's attorney. Here's the quote. We're continuing to work cooperatively with the NCAA staff on an enforcement matter. At this time, we are not allowed to comment on possible penalties or other aspects of the matter. Dave Abloff, a Michigan football spokesperson, says Michigan is unable to comment on this ongoing case. Big Ten Media Days are Wednesday, Thursday in Chicago. Harbaugh is expected to speak, or scheduled to speak, I should say, on Thursday this week. The first 4 games for Michigan: East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and then Rutgers. It is unclear whether or not this suspension will be weeks, just stay away from the team, or on game day only. And apparently this is the level 2 violations during a 2021 COVID recruiting dead period, and more significantly, a level 1 allegation, the most severe, against Harbaugh for lying to and misleading NCAA investigators.
Liar.
A source had told the News earlier in January that Harbaugh would not admit, either on or off the record, that he lied to the NCAA. Braylon Edwards, I come to you.
Deny. Jim Harbaugh is going to survive this. He'll be perfectly fine. War Manual, I'm not so sure. Let's stick with Jim Harbaugh for right now. Look, this isn't going to bother Jim Harbaugh. You just named, the best thing you did was you named that schedule of 4 games that he's going to miss. Nobody cares about East Carolina. Nobody cares about UNLV. Nobody cares about Bowling Green. And nobody cares about Rutgers. Not to mention the fact Ryan denied. He didn't admit that he did it, and it's over a cheeseburger. And it's over a restaurant. It's over taking a recruit out, paying for a meal, which he was not supposed to do. Now, I understand that he made a mistake. He violated. In fact, there are rules, and you have to follow those rules. You know who told me that? Jim Harbaugh told me that when I got in trouble. I was a little bit late for curfew when I was with the 49ers. That's what Jim Harbaugh told me. So as a result, I had to get up early in the morning for 1 week and go down to the facility much earlier than everybody else. That's what he told me. There are rules, and he broke those rules. Regardless how stupid the rules are, they still are in place, and he happened to do it when the NCAA is looking for a win the most. The NCAA no longer matters. NIL has completely come in, cut their legs out. They don't do anything. They have no say over anything. They pretty much govern nothing. They needed this as a win to say, hey, look, hey, NCAA here. We're still over here somewhere. We still have some kind of say. So they'll suspend him for 4 games. These 4 games don't matter. He never admitted to it. And I think for recruiting, recruits will look at this, whether it's the family, whether it's the players. This is a guy that I potentially want to play for. He took me out to get a bite to eat. I can't be mad at a coach or a potential coach for doing something like that. I don't think it's harm or foul for Jim Harbaugh. Ward Manuel, however, somebody's going to have to take the fall for all these things that keep happening in Ann Arbor that are not on the football field for the first time in a very long time. They're off the football field. Ward Manuel is in trouble. Jim Harbaugh, not so much.
Is it like Carlo? You got to answer for Santino?
100%.
Look, this is regarding the violations, the alleged violations that happened in a COVID period, in a dead period, in 2021, what have you. The NCAA clearly hates Michigan. The NCAA wants to prove that they are still relevant, as you said, Braylon. There is no question about this. The NCAA is less relevant now than it ever before in the history of college athletics. Nobody cares about the NCAA. Nobody likes the NCAA. We've been talking about how inept this organization is as an organization for decades now. And they want to pump their chest out a little bit. Look, if Jim Harbaugh bought a recruited cheeseburger and lied about it, or, misremembered the events of said cheeseburger, or fired off a text to a recruit, or held a Zoom call during COVID or something like that, and didn't really remember. I don't know what I did 3 years ago either. I don't know what I did 2.5 years ago in COVID either. If you ask me right now some of the things that I did during COVID, I would not be able to tell you. So if he didn't remember the events of the accusations, I'm going to go with that. He didn't remember. And, if it's a brown jug cheeseburger in a 4-day dead period or something, whatever the case may be, the NCAA is just trying to stay relevant. They did it with Tennessee. They're doing it with Michigan.
Tennessee, they hit pretty hard as far as money-wise.
They have no idea how to not sink. And this is one of the ways. Hit your biggest brand right between the eyes. And whether, Jim Harbaugh has to sit for 4 games, fine. Tom Brady sat for 4 games in 2016, and the New England Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So I fully expect if Jim Harbaugh has to sit for 4 games, Michigan to go on to win the national championship and stick up that big middle finger towards the NCAA.
Big middle finger to the NCAA, and at the same time, you look at what Tennessee did. Look, I'm right here. It's a witch hunt for Michigan, Ryan Ermanni. I agree with you 100%. But look what Tennessee did. Tennessee came out and admitted to what they did, and what happened? As they admitted to what they did, here comes these scholarship sanctions. They lost scholarships. They lost money. Michigan didn't do that because Harbaugh didn't admit to what he did. He misremembered, like Ryan Ermanni said. So with that being said, Harbaugh won that situation, and NCAA is pissed. NCAA has always had a hard on for Michigan because Michigan never needed the NCAA. We didn't have to play dirty like the SEC. We didn't have to play dirty like the ACC. We didn't have to do like SMU did back in the day. We never needed to lean on the NCAA and say, hey, could you cut us a break this time? Could you do this for us? That's why they came so hard after Ed Martin. That's why they came so hard after the other incident, the Marcus Ray. And the suit. These are the things that the NCAA is clinging on to find in Michigan. They can't find anything else because Michigan plays by the rules like a couple of institutions around the country like Notre Dame. So this is a witch hunt for Jim Harbaugh over a cheeseburger that he misremembered. I'm glad you brought up 2016 when they did that to Tom Brady. Some bears you don't poke. Some bears you don't poke. You damn sure don't poke the bear of this brand where right now they're as close, we are as close as we've ever been. Jim Harbaugh's boys are going to play for him this year. All you did was piss him off. I can't wait. Thank you for suspending Jim Harbaugh for the first 4 games because Michigan's going to respond in kind.
Without question, Brad. I think you hit the nail on the head. More on this. Next, are we going to do Cintron here?
I'm not doing it.
You got it.
Yes,
I
do.
There you go, Cintron.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win the $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best version of themselves. That website again, drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
By now you know me, Christina Schnarri, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com. as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. Hit that like button. Over 45,000 subscribers. We thank each and every one of you. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports as well as we gear up for football season. You won't find better coverage of your Detroit Lions anywhere than right here, Woodward Sports. We are talking about this impending suspension. Jim Harbaugh could be facing a 4-game suspension for level 1, level 2 violations, recruiting violations that happened during a 2021 COVID recruiting dead period, and misremembered the details of those allegations. And here we go. So the story is happening now. Big Ten Media Days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Harbaugh scheduled to speak on Thursday. We don't anticipate to hear him respond to any of these stories because it's an ongoing investigation. But if you are a parent out there and your kid is a little weakling, like out there,
Weakling?
little weak kid, he's out there all meager, weak, small, a wuss. What do you tell him to do?
Stand up for himself.
You tell him to pick out the biggest bully you see and punch him right in the face. Metaphorically.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's exactly what the NCAA. The NCAA is a little weak wuss kid.
Yeah.
and has to punch Michigan in the face.
I still don't get that. And I said it to Braylon on the break. I'm going to let him explain it to you guys. If Michigan has been innocent all these years and have been a good boy, and they have been mainly, why pick on them then? They should be getting the benefit of the doubt, if anything. If you ask me, I don't get this.
Man, that's what says, I love you to death. You're a sweetheart, and you don't live in the real world. I wish I could live in the world that you live in. Like, that's not the real world. The real world is the NCAA is this dying entity. Like, this is the first time we've heard those 4 letters in sequence in how long? The NCAA is dying, and they need to show that they still matter. They need to show that they still make a difference in college football. The only college sport that people care about, particularly right now. They need to show they matter. How do you do that? You go after one of the 2 largest brands currently in college football. It's Michigan, it's Bama, and Georgia. Maybe those 3, Ohio State, put them in as 4. They're the brand that people go after. So Michigan made a technical mistake with the cheeseburger thing. And now the NCAA has found it in, and now they're going after it. But they look retarded. They look ignorant. Excuse me. They look ignorant. And the reason why they look ignorant is Parker, our wonderful TD, brought up something interesting. Remember when Urban Meyer got suspended because he knew about his coach and what his coach was doing behind closed doors, lied about it, knew about it, did it at Florida, and did it at Ohio State.
Regarding domestic violence.
Regarding domestic violence, regarding drugs, regarding other things as well. It wasn't just clear cut as domestic violence. He got 2 games.
3 games.
So he got 3. Okay, he got 3 games. Excuse the hell out of me. He didn't get 4.
Right.
He didn't get. My point is, he got 3 games for domestic violence, lying over and over again, and then some level of drug use, not by him, but by his coach, a guy he knew as a friend. He got 3 games for that, and he bounced back with nothing. Michigan, a misrepresented cheeseburger, a misrepresented lunch, a sit down. This is the NCAA trying to go after one of the 2 largest brands in sports right now. They look ignorant doing so. It looks desperate. But at the same time, if this was SMU, if this was, Lafayette Monroe, if this was some school, some small entity, NCAA wouldn't be pressing on this because it wouldn't matter. And this team wouldn't be in the national light. But because it's Michigan, because they need a win, they're going after them.
Now that we know what we knew about COVID, right? and just some of the things regarding it. If there was a coach at a get-together or a Zoom practice or something like that, aren't you like, oh yeah, we really screwed up on some of these rules. This was some of the dumbest things we've done in our life. You know, some of the rules that were levied down. Like
the COVID rules, you mean?
Yeah, COVID rules.
What you can do, what you can't do.
What you can do and what you can't do as it relates to college athletics.
Yeah, this
because
was the
that's
first
when some of
time.
these violations happen.
This is the first time it ever happened.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Don't you just like, oh yeah, man, that was a really dumb rule. Sorry, we had that one. We're not gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do.
And if this is about lying, or allegedly, if this is about misremembering events of something, just think about not being able to buy a cheeseburger or any food for any recruit at any time. It should be like 3. At this point, now that we know what we know about communication, social media, the way people talk to each other, text messages. Don't you think these dead periods are some of the dumbest things you've ever heard in your life? I mean, a recruiting dead period. Where, yeah, I understand maybe back in the day in 1980, Bo had to show up to your front door, and you don't want 20 college coaches showing up at Braylon Edwards' front door in 1995 or whatever.
I'm not that old.
1999 or 2000.
There you go. There you go.
But now with this thing, guy can't send him a text message. Guys on campus, you can't just say, oh yeah, let me buy you a cheeseburger. Some of the rules themselves, and we talked about this with Jameson Williams and the gambling, some of the actual rules themselves are so archaic, outdated, and just flat dumb. How we continue these old, archaic, and dumb rules is really on us. And they're just in place to make organizations like the NCAA feel relevant. Because without a recruiting dead period, what the hell do you need the NCAA for? It's just so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, some rules obviously needs to be changed. You know, I don't necessarily think that, you know, paying for someone's lunch is the same exact as the dead period. With the dead period was allowed for the coaches to have the same amount of time to go after the same kids and see whoever liked their relationship, but at the same time, allowing the kid to have some time to, like you said, I don't need coaches popping up at the door. It's 2023, so you won't have that. But I don't need coaches texting me all the time. You don't need these kids formulating these relationships with these coaches that may get severed if they don't go to institutions. You never know what people are capable of. But the lunch stuff, definitely the lunch stuff. If you buy a kid a sandwich, I understand its rules right now. That's why I said the first thing, rules are rules. But you got to get rid of dumb stuff like that, buying a kid a sandwich and going over conversation why he may want to come to your institution. But I do understand that dead period. The kid needs time to be a kid. Like the parents are already forcing all of his time to want to be in, get a scholarship to Michigan, go to the NFL, be on the show Quarterback on Netflix. Dead period still gives them a chance to be a kid, go out, hang out with your friends. You get that period where coaches can't contact you, institutions can't contact you. You remember that you are only 16 or 15 or 17 or 18.
Can I respond to that? Because
sure.
I think if you are a Michigan caliber athlete now today, unfortunately those that you don't even get to be a kid anymore, because all year long you're doing, now you got to do this 7-on-7, or you got to go to this camp or that camp. You don't even get to play another sport in high school anymore for the most part. You know, it's almost like a full-time business that we've turned youth athletics to, especially for the elite of the elite athletes. Unfortunately, they don't get the benefit of being a kid, playing threes. The days of a three-sport high school athlete are over.
So are you saying because they already don't get that type of opportunity, then you might as well just forego it?
Yeah, you might as well just be like, just open it up.
Well, that's not fair, because that's like saying, like, if you're a student athlete, you know what? You might as well just play a full.
You might as well not go to school.
No, not that. You might as well play a full NFL season. Right. You might as well play 17 games, then a conference championship for 18, then a playoffs for 19, 20, and then a national championship for 21. You might as well play 21 games. No, you might not want to do that because kids are still in school. Kids still got to get grades.
I'm not saying it's right.
But you say you might as well forego it because of it.
Well, like a dead period, I'm saying, where you can't text me.
So then at what point does it make it where kids don't even go to school anymore? Like what
Well, you tell me.
Like what was you know what? Hey, you know what? You're okay. If you're gonna play in the NFL, we'll put you in a special program.
That's kind of what we've seen now with kids not going to college and going to like overtime elite.
That's
and
basketball.
stuff like that.
Though. It's not football.
Well,
Basketball, you still got to do 3 years before.
Let me ask you guys this. If a coach sits down with
Football,
a
3
couple of
years.
recruits,
Football, yeah.
and he doesn't buy them lunch, they buy their own lunch. Is that still a penalty?
No, what? Unless
How do
it's
they know the hell he bought them lunch?
unless it's in this dead period that Ryan's talking about. You said
I think it was within a dead period.
I see.
It was within a dead
And we
period.
still don't know about the whole Matt Weiss situation. we really don't. What happened to him? Did he go with the deflate guys? The deflate gate guys? Did they go? They're all
The
on
guys
an-
that deflated the
They're all on an
footballs?
island.
Yeah.
They're all on an island together. They're like home of the misfit toys or something.
We don't know anything about Matt Weiss.
I'm just saying.
Who is Matt Weiss?
There's a lot of dirty stuff that goes on in football. We know that. This was such a minor thing. I think it's pathetic that he gets a 4-game suspension. Considering all the stuff and the shenanigans that are pulled off by the SEC alone. How did they get away with it? And I know Tennessee got hit $8 million. Like $8 million to Tennessee. Like that's something. I don't understand the whole thing.
The SEC has carried college football in the NCAA for the last 20 years plus, and that's how they get away with it.
And before that.
And
You're going to tell me Jimbo Fisher hasn't broken rules?
But
You didn't tell me that?
But he's under an umbrella that has worked hand in hand with the NCAA for
They're
years.
crooks.
Okay, but they're crooks together. Michigan's not a part of being a crook. So who you gonna go after? You gonna go after the guy that's crooked with you before,
Right.
or you gonna go after the clean guy? You know what? Let's pin this on the clean guy who thinks he's too good for the other guys, who thinks their institution is above the other institutions. You know what, Michigan? You're not so squeaky clean after all. We're coming for you. That's all this is. It's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt, but the door was opened by Jim Harbaugh. He opened the door. NCAA came kicking it in. But to your point, Maz, it still looks pathetic. The only difference is Michigan's got all the other coaches, all the other teams on their side because the rest of the college football landscape, they don't care about NCAA, and they will stick together to fight them for years to come. NCAA looks weak. Like, this, it sucks. But at the day, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, do we care about that? East Carolina, we're going to be perfectly
What if he's away
fine.
for a whole month?
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this does not, as if they already needed something to rally around. I think this really puts them all in now. Not that they weren't before. It's silly to even insinuate. But I think this really is kind of like something that will boost them towards a national
But
title.
what if he's not allowed to be
2023?
near the team for a month?
It doesn't matter. They're not playing anybody. Michigan is a well-oiled machine. This is Michigan's best team that has ever returned. Going into the season, on paper, they're Michigan's best team that has ever returned. They're not playing anybody in the first four. Their head coaches, their coaches on that staff have been there for a couple of years. They'll be fine going into that Nebraska game. Then it gets real.
Who's going to coach him, you think? Who's next up?
Because Sharon's going to get a game as well.
Yeah.
So to be Sharon Moore,
Defensive coordinator, maybe.
I think the deal would be Sharon. If he does the 4, Sharon doesn't do any time, and Sharon will be the interim head coach under that process. But getting back to something I wanted to ask you, we can tease it for the break. War Manuel is going to be in some trouble. And I think that's why President Ono was hired.
All right, we'll go there next. Plus, Jamison Williams is not practicing. Is that, are you a little concerned? We'll talk to Braylon about that. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale with the Buick GMC brands. For over 55 years, Les Stanford has been a trusted name, and they're bringing that same great service that customers have come to know to Ferndale. They're located on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. With Buick GMC, if you are looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, you can find the brand you want. All GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Gabby, Mazawey is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Think you can play some golf? Think you can beat pros like Darren McCartney and myself? Well, you know what? Come on down Thursday nights at the Cambria Hotel at 5 Iron Golf. The new place to hang out, restaurant, drinks, 13 simulators. It's the place to be. It's going to be hot August. You want to be inside, get some of that cool golf, man. Some of your favorite courses around the world. You can play them on these simulators. It's a lot of fun. And check this out. If you go in right now, when you mention promo code Woodward Sports, you get half off your first time there. Check it out. A lot of fun with your friends down at Cambria Hotel, 5 Iron Golf.
All right, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Head to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop. Get some Woodward Sports gear as we head into football season here. Nobody will have better football coverage than woodwardsports.com. And however you are watching Woodward Sports, we absolutely appreciate you. Maybe it's Spotify, maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's on the app, woodwardsports.com. Pretty good. Maybe it's Fox 2. Hey. Welcome, everybody. Braylon, you wanted to mention Ward Manuel, and maybe he is on apparently some shaky ground.
I think he's on shaky ground. You know, Michigan's had a lot of things that have happened in the sports program and the athletic department over the past 3-4 years. I mean, you look at Mozzie Smith thing last year, you look at the tunnel situation that wasn't there, but the way they handled it at Michigan, you look at the burger and the tampering with Jim Harbaugh, you look at the Juwan Howard situation, because that's who Ward Manuel hired. You look at the COVID b-ball situation where they were accused of not playing games, not saying that they had COVID, because that they didn't want to risk the chance of losing those games. One was, 2 of them I want to say was the women's basketball team, one was the Michigan football team against Ohio State. I just think there's a lot that has happened. Something has to happen in Ann Arbor, and frankly put, I think Ward Manuel is going to be under the gun for a lot of things that have happened up there. And I think when you hire President Ono, you have an individual that has no biasness to Ward Manuel. I mean, you have no biasness to Jim Harbaugh. So it's a guy in Ono. Ono has the power to fire and hire anybody. I think he was put in place to potentially hire Ward Manuel, and I think Ward Manuel is under the gun this season.
Hey, remember we talked last week with John U. Bacon, and I asked him about, hey, what's up with Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh? And he's like, who? You know, basically, we haven't heard a thing about Ward Manuel. It's kind of all been swept under the rug. Remember, they supposedly haven't spoken since last May. I know maybe now they have, but we really don't see much of them together. So who the heck knows what the hell's going on with that?
And, man, to your point, I know the people out there don't care. Everybody can talk about J-Mo. I am too. But to your point, Ward Manuel hasn't talked. We haven't seen anything that's come out about that. You don't know who's calling the shots. Remember when Ono spoke out before Ward Manuel was able to tell everybody that Jim Harbaugh signed the extension?
That's right.
He was going to be here, and then he kind of looked like, oh, excuse me, is my bad? Is it okay? I'm telling you, there's something there. President Ono's going to be the one to fire Ward Manuel. I hope not, but that's the way it seems that it's shaping up.
Hey,
If Harbaugh does get suspended for 4 games, if Sharon Moore gets suspended for 1, because his name is reportedly involved in this, who do you believe on this staff is best suited to be the interim head coach? And I would say that Sharon Moore, if he does get the 1 game, is not going to get the 1 game and then come in to be the head coach.
It's got to be someone clean.
It's got to be somebody clean for the entire 4 weeks. Do you have a name?
Well, it was a name I thought of, and then I looked in the chat, and there's a bunch of guys saying it. Mike Hart.
Mike told me this is we were at the draft in 2006, the year after I got drafted. So this has been Reggie Bush and DeMario Williams, and we were at the draft, and I asked Mike then, You know, like what did he want to do? What was his next thing? Like what was he thinking about? You know, this offseason. He said he always wanted to be the head coach, the first black head coach at University of Michigan. Like he told me that in 2006, and he's going on record and saying that a bunch of times. So Mike has put himself in position to do what he's always wanted to do. So if the coaches up there in Michigan know that, Jim Harbaugh, the coach on the staff, understand that, if the players respect that, if that's the way they want to go. I can't say this, my little brother is ready. He's not a little brother anymore. He's a man that has a plan. So if they want to go that route, Maz, I think it will be a great route. And also, I think it gives Michigan a chance to see what Mike Hart has for 4 games. Like, what type of coach could Mike Hart be? Like, could this be a future after Jim Harbaugh? Or do you look at it and say, you know what, I'm glad we had this opportunity because maybe he's not the coach that we want him to be, and now he gets more time. Maz, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a great chance to give him those 4 games to see what coaching is like in the big leagues.
I got another name for you guys. And again, if there is, and I don't know this, but I don't think Jim Harbaugh and Mike Hart are exactly best friends.
I understand.
Okay, is that a polite way to put it?
He's had some problems with that position before. You remember Tyrone Wheatley left, the running back coach, and there was some butting
I think
heads.
they butt heads. I don't have complete confirmation of this, but I do have some people that say that they aren't exactly in sync on a cohesive.
Kumbaya.
If you look at this coaching staff, there aren't many coaches on here, if any, just by first glance, that have head coaching experience, except for one.
I know it is.
And it's Ron Bellamy.
I knew you were going to say that.
And he's a head coach of a high school team, yes, but he does have a head coach experience.
Nice.
And I do think they have a great relationship. So I would go with Bellamy, me personally, because of the head coaching responsibilities.
I understand that, but Ryan's never been a head coach in the college level. He was a head coach in the West Bloomfield High School. When you're talking about University of Michigan, you're talking about head coaching the #1 brand in college football. You're talking about head coaching the team right now that's prime to go to the national championship game and get their first playoff win. I don't know if Ron Bellamy is ready for that. I don't know if he's in a position where he hasn't even had success at his own position on this team, this current team. His wide receivers haven't performed up to the ability that I believe they can under his tutelage. So I wouldn't necessarily put him in there as the head coach of University of Michigan. I mean, this is a big time for the University of Michigan. They are the team in college football right next to Georgia. So you got to find somebody that you know is tested, is battle tested. And I think Mike Hart, although not a head coach at this level, he's been a coach on a couple different teams. He's been a coach, and he's been there at Michigan. So I don't know, maybe a Jesse Mentor, maybe an outside.
Well, I was going to give you another outside name. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Mike Elston, the defensive line coach, who's like, in his 50s. You know what I mean? Just an older guy who's been around. Game would probably be – because, look, Michigan should blow out their first four opponents, right? But you've got to have a script to get people in the game, get people out of the game, get people in sync with one another. And the key to being a head coach is just to get everything to slow down and not be so frantic. And that might come with some maturity. Mike Hart, though, does seem like all these guys. I mean, you don't. It's hard. You could flip a coin.
If you pass Mike Hart up to be the coach, I don't think he stays with the team after this year. Yeah.
I think he's going to stay anyway, to be honest with you.
Just throwing it out there.
It's how you leave, though.
Yeah.
Like, do you leave one way, or do you make Ron Bellamy the interim head coach over Mike Hart? Now Mike gives you the middle finger and probably tries to leave during the season, although he would never do that to Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. I mean, at the end of the day, it's 4 games. It's against 4 opponents that 3 that we really don't have to pay attention to. 1 that you kind of got to do a scouting report on. They don't have to go crazy. Whoever's coming in here, he isn't the guy that's going to replace Jim Harbaugh. I think that's what we also have to remember. This isn't the guy that's going to come in here and replace Jim Harbaugh next season and take over. This isn't the guy that you're putting 2024 in the future in the hands of. This is just a guy that you're trying to have get through 4 games. It doesn't matter who you have do this. You're trying to get through 4 games. As long as your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator are still in the same position, you'll be fine.
Did they officially say the first 4 games of the season?
No, it's in the, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's in negotiation phase.
Correct.
I've never heard a penalty, which goes to even further show you the NCAA doesn't have any type of power. They are in a negotiation phase of the penalty and punishment, right? Like right now, if Jim Harbaugh they can negotiate down to 2 games, 1 game, 3 games, no games for Sharon Moore. They are in a negotiating space. I've never seen anything like it, and that's why I say Michigan is in fine shape. Well, at least the team and the head coach are in fine shape. Nobody's worried about a negotiation.
I
Never
wouldn't
seen it.
comply.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't comply.
Oh no, he's going down with the ship.
I mean, what are you gonna do to me, NCAA? I mean, seriously, you
What are you gonna
gonna
do?
not send the referees to play? You know what I mean?
We'll call your bluff.
You're not gonna send the referees to show up against Utah State or whoever the hell, East Carolina, Utah's the same thing. You know?
We're sitting.
You know?
We're sitting with trip 3s and sitting with 2 6s. Like we got trips 3s. Baby.
Oh my gosh, guys! Jamison Williams not practicing. Is there concern regarding that? But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
That is right. Summertime is the best time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. Planet Fitness is your home with a judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. There are more than 50 convenient Planet Fitness locations around the Metro Detroit area, plus thousands more throughout the world. So no matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness nearby. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or check them out online at planetfitness.com.
.com.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports Network on a Tuesday afternoon.
Network.
Maybe, I never know what time it is anymore, but I should know what time it is. You all know what
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is, absolutely. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, JB, Parker, I'm Ryan Ermanni. Let's talk a little Lions, gang. I didn't have a chance to be with you yesterday, but you guys did a fine job talking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson dodging the bullet. My goodness. Oh, God, are you kidding me? But this is one of those things that I feel like the football gods are now shining upon the city of Detroit. I've been looking back at that 1991 season, and you know, Mike Utley happened, and then Eric Andelsek in the offseason after that, and then, you know, they had to draft offensive linemen because they had everything that could go wrong did go
Eric
wrong.
Kramer
and
left.
Eric Kramer. Now it feels like, at the start anyway, everything that could go right is going right. But I do want to ask you about Jamison Williams. So Danny Rogers, DetroitLions.com reporter, said that Jamison Williams, who's suspended for the first 6 games of the season, suffered a leg injury, which forced him out of Monday's practice. He'll miss a number of days during training camp. Dan Campbell said, I don't think it's significant, but it's enough where he's not going to practice. Well, today at practice, he's out there dancing. And, you know, I mean, so this is video that we got today. him out there, he's just jogging around, maybe doing a little dance and this, that, and the other thing. Look, I mean, it's fine. God bless him. But Braylon, is there any concern now that this is the only time, like he is not going to play once the season starts, he's gone? So this training camp feels so important. He didn't get training camp last year. He didn't get much of the season last year. He's not going to get the first part of the season. This training camp is a short window of football that this young man is going to get to participate in, and any day missed feels like a big deal. However many days, however few days it will be, any practice missed feels anyway like an enormous deal. Anything that happens with J-Mo does.
Look, man, I know your team is close. You're close to the playoffs. You know, we're close to the season starting. We're close to Jameson Williams getting back on the field. We're close to the Lions being able to prove that it wasn't Kool-Aid. It was real, and everything was right. You guys got to calm down. You got to pipe down a little bit. Jameson's fine. Just because he misses a day of practice, this kid has been playing football for the last 6 years. This kid played football all last year. Like, even when he wasn't on the field, he was practicing. He was going through team meetings. He was going through drills. He was on the jug machines. He was running routes. Last season, when he was able to play, he played in some games. He practiced last year. He's done all of off season. He's worked out when the team wasn't here. He's done mini camps. He's done OTAs. He's about to start training camp whenever he's done. Jameson Williams is fine. Jameson Williams will be fine. He's with the team. He's watching. He's dialed in. And he's got 6 weeks to get ready. He's got 6 weeks to get healthy. He's got 6 weeks to be the guy that they drafted, moved up 20 picks in 2022 to draft. Jameson Williams will be fine. This is nothing. If there was something more, they've been honest. And you were able to pick up on that, Ryan, early in January when they talked about J-Mo. Then early again in April when they talked about J-Mo. You picked up on when the franchise felt about him, and it was something of cause for concern. Right now, I don't think this is cause for concern. We just want to make sure he's the best so that he gets the best quality reps when he's able to go. And when you have limited reps, you want to make sure they're the best reps. You want to make sure you're at the best health. You're at the most quality of your body. You want to make sure so you're getting these reps in full speed in real time. You don't want to be getting these reps when you got something that's small nagging you. Could Jameson Williams practice today? Yeah. He could practice today, but would it be the best quality reps that they can get out of him, Ben Johnson and Jared Goff? Probably not. So I think he'll be fine. We'll relax. Jameson will be there when the season starts. He got a lot of time to get right. I think we need to pump the brakes.
I just want to say this as a Lions fan. Lions fans, I just want to say this. He's given us nothing to hang our hat on. What I mean by that is, since we drafted him, since the Lions drafted him, it's been one thing after the other. And you know me, I've said it, I'm on record. I don't like drafting injured players. That's fine. And I know you set me at ease, Braylon. You told me don't worry about it. It's not like the old days. It's not Joe Namath wearing that knee brace. This is different. He goes out, misses a bunch of games last year, comes out, gets that one touchdown, got behind the defense, caught a couple of other big passes as well. Then he get the gambling. Then he gambles. Then the next night he's in Vegas. Then he does this. Then he does that. Now he tweaks his leg here. It just seems to me like a car crash. I don't know any way to describe it. It just makes me feel like I don't know if this guy ever is going to get to be what he's supposed to be. I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
Maz, let me start by saying this. I understand where your energy is coming from, and I understand as a fan. I understand as seeing someone like he's been behind the 8 ball with you as a fan since he's got here because he was injured and everything else has transpired. And I understand that. I got drafted in 2005. Okay, I held out, so I didn't. By the time I signed my contract, it was the day of the first preseason game. So already I had a strike from the fans. I held out till preseason. That's a strike. I get staph infection after game 3 in my rookie year. That's another strike. Oh, he held out. Then he had staph infection. Not my fault, but I caught staph infection. Then got healthy, played some more games. And then the 12th game of the year, on my mom's birthday, December 4th, I tear my ACL. Oh, damn, now he tore his ACL. That's another thing. Why did we draft this guy? Now he's got an ACL tear. Now we got to wait for him to get back. Rehab. I came back next season. I started when the season started. I was the first game of the year. I started in that lineup. I rehabbed. I got back. And then a year later, I caught 16 touchdowns and broke the franchise record. I say all that to say this. He's going to be okay. He's going to be fine. Things have happened back to back to back to back. But if you're going to let go of the Detroit Lions being the same old Lions, let go of the fact that you think that this might be a part of that same old Lions. It's a brand new Lions regime. Give him a chance to be part of that brand new Lions regime. I think he's going to be tremendous for the Detroit Lions. When I saw Brad Holmes at Calvin Johnson's camp, shout out to Calvin and all the work he does in the community, Brad Holmes was excited to talk about Jameson Williams, decided to talk about what he can be in the future. Every time you hear Antoine Randall, he's excited to talk about, number 9 as well. So I think he'll be fine. He's got a lot of time before he's slated to come out and start this season. He will be fine. You have real concerns, and they are warranted. I think that he'll be fine, though. I think that he's in the right team. He's with the right people. And I think he's going to be the same guy we saw in January of 2022, where if he doesn't get hurt, Ryan Ermanni, Alabama wins the national championship. He's still that same guy.
I think you're both right.
KB just called me a washwoman.
I think you're both right.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Maz, and I think you're right, Braylon.
Yeah.
And I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Until I freaking see
Till you see it.
I'm gonna have concerns about the guy. Can't make it 2 practices without tweak. I don't see a ton of other
But is it a tweak or is it them keeping him out? Because when I came back from my ACL tear, Ryan, there were practices I could have practiced, and they kept me out. It wasn't me. It wasn't J-Mo. It wasn't even my body. It was a slated program.
I don't think by listening to Dan Campbell, I don't think it was a scheduled, we're going to keep him out.
Okay.
At all.
Like I said, you know the post.
And so the tone of the Dan Campbell was not this is a scheduled thing, we're going to protect him. This is he tweaked some of my words. He tweaked his knee. It's not significant. He's going to be out a couple of days. He's not going to practice a couple of days.
Maybe he's just fresh.
And it's fine. Like, look, this is training camp. You're going to dissect every little thing that happens along the way. It happens, but for this player, this is not a backup center. This is not a third wide receiver. We're talking about perhaps the guy with the most talent on the roster.
This is your Lamborghini, man.
We're not talking about a Ford Mustang. We're talking about a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So you want that guy to give you something.
He did give you something. Last year when you put him in the game, you saw how fast he was. You saw what he can be in the NFL. Listen, if a Lamborghini has a PSI level that the tire's a little low, you're not going to take it to the racetrack and race with that tire. You're going to put air in that tire and you're going to wait. You're going to take some time. He will be fine, Ryan.
It's fine. I'm not even going to, I'm not that emotional about it. I don't even have
no matter what he does, he's going to be shut down again.
Right.
That's what I just keep saying. It's always something. And I know that's the NFL. They screwed us. They did. But no matter what he does here, he's going to be shut down again. And then he's going to start again. And it just bugs the liver. I'll shut up.
What if no, you don't have to shut up. This is a show. We're having a conversation. What if I told you guys are more worried than he is? Would that ease your stress? Because you definitely are more worried than he is. I've been in his shoes.
I would like him to make it through a couple of days of training camp and not get hurt. Hurt because he's not injured. I think injury means you're out for a long time. I would like him I would like to see a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks go by without him getting hurt. That's what I would like. I think as a Lions fan,
he's been here for 7 years, and this is a pattern. He's been here for 1 year, and this is the first time that he's been in training camp and got injured.
Right.
This is one time. So you mean I would like him to stop getting injured? This was one time. This isn't like year 8, and you're like, this is the 6th time. And I'm just saying, this is the only time.
Right.
It's the only time he's been injured. You can't use Alabama in the national championship game against him. This is the first time that he's entered a training camp and then got injured or got a nick.
I am not against Jameson Williams.
I didn't say you were.
I'm just saying that
I didn't say you were.
It does maybe it's the start of training camp and guys pull something or tweak something or whatever. I don't freaking know.
That shit happens all the time. I've been in training camp. That happens all the time to the best. The guys that sign for the most money, the guys that
he
are the first round
built up enough equity in Detroit, I don't think yet, to not be concerned about him.
But that's
Yeah.
between Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Sheila Ham, and Jamison Williams. You guys didn't draft Jamison. The team did.
Well, I mean, we are.
So don't get mad at Jamison. Be mad at him. I mean, be mad at them. They drafted a player that was hurt.
Well, that is a concern.
Okay, well,
That
don't
is
take it
a
out on
concern.
Jamison then.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about the player. I mean, if you're in the NFL,
Right.
If you make money on professional sports, you're going to get praise and you're going to get criticism. I mean, we sit here every day. If you're going to, this isn't like talking. If you're talking to your buddy at the bar about your sports opinions, nobody's saying you suck. What we chose to do here. By having microphones listen to our conversation, we chose to open ourselves up for criticism. People can tell us our takes suck. I mean, you're allowed to criticize people that are in high-profile jobs. You can tell me I suck. I can in turn say that Jamison, there is concern. I'm not saying, like, it's not like, the end of the world. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's objectionable to say, yeah, I think there's a little concern there. And that's all that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that because Maz said the exact same thing. And Maz, what did I say to you? I said, Maz, your feelings are warranted. That's the word I use. Yeah. But when you tell me I need to see 3 weeks of practice before you get injured,
I'd like to. I don't need to. I'd like to.
That's when I have the conversation. And I say, based on what? They drafted him when he was injured. We got to trust that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell made the right decision drafting Jamison Williams and drafting him when he was injured, and that he's going to be the right choice. So what I'm going to choose to do, I'm not going to choose to say, you know what, I need to see 3 weeks. I don't need to see anything. I need to see the same thing that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes saw, and I need to see it week 7. If I see it on week 7, I'm cool. I remember when Brandon Marshall was pissed at the Denver Broncos during training camp. Remember he was walking through just knocking the ball down as opposed to catching it. Now, when I see stuff like that, then it's a problem. Because then the guy has an attitude issue. A guy has a morality quarrel against the draft, against the team. But when I see a guy out there having a good time, has a nick, and I'm like, I can get this guy a little time because this guy wants to be here. He'll be fine. They shut him down, not the other way around. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But one guy who there is no concern about, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Woo.
You'll hear from this cat. My goodness, this guy is an absolute beast. What is his ceiling? I want to ask you that. What is Amon-Ra St. Brown's ceiling? This guy is ready for camp, let me tell you. We'll get there next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's, it's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Edwards dancing. You in hour number 2 here, Bray.
Hey, look, man, your boy got moves, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what time it is.
How can they not ask you to be dancing on the stars?
You know, I actually got asked to pursue it. I don't like getting rejected, so I never pursued it for fit.
Hines Ward took it off the sheet, baby.
He played for one of the most storied franchises in the world, in the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I used to like to have fun. That was before inter squad scrimmage, I think in 2007 or 2007. So.
The only difference is
so fun.
You were playing for the Browns at that time, dancing.
This is true.
You weren't J-Mo, not playing, but dancing.
Would you guys get that man a break?
Oh my God, that is so funny. He gets no breaks. No breaks.
I see.
No breaks.
You know it's great. He only doesn't get breaks from you guys is because the Detroit Lions. Parker, what are you doing with the camera? He only doesn't get breaks now because the Detroit Lions are good. You guys believe they're on the precipice. So right now you're nervous. If this was the same old Detroit Lions that was 3-13-1, or they were fighting to be 500, you wouldn't care as much. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to care. But if they were the same 500, then you guys wouldn't be like this. But right now, it's like, oh, shit.
You're right,
we got a
Bray.
chance. We got to be there. But it's fair.
You're totally right about that. If the Lions were expected to go 5-12, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care about the team. I wouldn't care about what moves they make. I wouldn't care. I'd feel about them the way I feel about the Pistons. Yeah. It's almost like non-existent. Wake me up when you're competitive.
True.
So when you take a resource like the number 12 pick overall and you place this dynamic player, and again, probably the best athlete, if he's not the number 1 best athlete on the team, he's definitely 2, 3, or 4, top 5. Let's just give it a little bit of leeway here. He's a top 5 athlete on the team and could probably. It's easy to go from bad to good. Yeah. It's hard to go from good to great. He's one of those players that can help you go from good to great. So yes, forgive me if I'm a little critical. Forgive me if I want the best for the Detroit Lions, if I want the best for Jameson Williams. And because you have not seen it, and you saw the one play, one catch, 41-yard touchdown, looked unbelievable.
Defense forgot about him.
But either way, it was wide open, and he had to wait for the ball. He outran the throw, and it was great.
I think they hit him on the sideline.
I'm just saying there is concern for me until I see it on the field. And maybe that 100%, you're sure that he's going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL, for me is at 80%. I'm 80% sure that he's going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL.
Talk to me in
not
week
100%.
7.
Understood, and that's fine. I will talk back with you guys week 7, but I will say this. We got to stop saying the defenses forgot about a guy. When a guy is capable of running 4-2, they ain't forget about him. There's just nothing they can do with him.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that, Bray. Right, I agree with you on that.
I said it once. I'll say it a million
I'm claiming
times.
it. I'm calling my shot. Just like I did with Teddy Bridgewater 2 years ago.
Amen. We'll get to him in a minute. I wanted to get to Amon-Ra St. Brown for a minute.
Stud.
He just doesn't. I don't know if he doesn't look like a top 5. Doesn't look like Justin Jefferson. Doesn't look like Jamar Chase. I don't know what it is, but he's you talk about top 10 receivers. He's not in there, not in many lists. So if you ask Detroit Lions fans, he might be in a top 10 list, certainly in a top 15 list. But what is the ceiling for Amon-Ra St. Brown? This is something he put. Let me just play this for you.
My bad. I should have had that one.
He dropped a pass in practice, so he went to the jugs machine after caught 200 plus straight of those. First of all, how hard is that to do?
I mean, I'm not being a hater, so people out there, it's not hard. It's not hard at our level. Right. We got drafted to play wide receiver in the NFL.
Fair enough.
So it's not hard for us. But other individuals, as Stuart Scott, you saw it worked out for him. Well, rest in peace, when he was trying to catch on the jug machines in New York, actually, with the Jets, got hit in the eye, and that's why his eye was messed up. He got hit in the eye. It's tough for people that don't do it, just like any other job. If I was to go to any job, if I was to go to an attorney's office and try to litigate a case, no thank you. I wouldn't be able to do it. But looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, this is how you get better. Like, this is how you get better. The consistent dedication to getting better. This is what he talks about. This is what he's been doing since he's been here. Catching passes on the jug machine after practice, staying late, running routes, getting here early enough in March, staying later in July. Amon-Ra is trying to show you that he wants to be the guy that you can lean on, that you can depend on. And so far, he's done that for his first 2 years. What's the ceiling for Amon-Ra St. Brown?
That's the question, because I'm obsessed with this guy.
Here's what I would say. We don't know. And it's an honest answer. He went to a major institution, USC, which tells me somebody believed in him in high school. Somebody believed in him enough to say, hey, you know, we want to give you an opportunity to go to USC, one of the most storied, you can argue the most storied school in the history of college football. He went to USC. He had 1 year, 750 as a freshman. That's saying a lot when you come out the gate with 750. Then he followed it with 1,000 yards. Then his last year, not so much, 478. He's not a burner, but he doesn't drop anything, and he can play in any system. Kind of like a Cooper Kupp. Like, I believe Cooper Kupp for me. I haven't seen the route running skills of Cooper Kupp, but I don't know what Cooper Kupp route skills look like when he was at Eastern Kentucky or Eastern Illinois, or Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington when he was in college. I don't know what his route looking skills were, but I see the same thing. Dedication, got looked over, had to prove his own way, had to make his way, became Mr. Triple Crown, became a Super Bowl winner, became a Super Bowl MVP. I see that same type of journey for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got here to Detroit, and ever since he's been here, once he got inserted in that lineup in 2021, he's been a guy that you depend on. He's been a guy that you lead on. When he got injured early in the season last year, Lions offense wasn't the same. Like, we know DeAndre Swift was hurt, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is the reason why the offense wasn't the same. So right now, he has no ceiling because I don't know what to compare it to. Cooper Kupp came in the same way. He was a Triple Crown. Now, I'm not saying that Amon-Ra can be Triple Crown, but I'm saying he is a determined player, and it's going to be fun to watch what his ceiling is. I think he's creating a ceiling, to be honest.
I'll tell you this. Since the kid came in, and you remember him on Hard Knocks, they focused on him. He's a smart kid, comes from a great family. His dad was a Mr. Universe. His mother, European woman. I think, was she German or Dutch? He speaks it fluently. He's a smart kid. He is built like, you see what he's built like. He remembered every single receiver picked ahead of him. Remember, he went right down the line. This guy is coming for you. And I know when we go over the top 10 receivers, and Braylon, you're the expert on that.
Yeah.
But you don't put him in your top 10. I'll tell you this, he'll be in your top 6 by the time this year is over. And once the big 3 are gone out of the wide receivers, when you pick in your fantasy football,
who's your big 3?
Well, you got Justin Jefferson,
Tyreek Hill, and Jamar Chase.
Correct. That's your big 3. Maybe even put Stephon Diggs in there. Then it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. As far as fantasy football goes, you better put him way up on your list. This guy's coming for the Cooper Kupps of the world. Cooper Kupp's in there too, by the way. He's coming for them. He is.
I'm not putting Amon-Ra St. Brown or Cooper Kupp in my top 6. But with that being said, he'll be really good. The thing about a fantasy, you guys just saw me fantasy last year, right? Last year was my first year playing, okay? The object of fantasy is to get points, correct?
Yes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had 106 catches last year for 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. That doesn't give you points. Like, points is what makes fantasy football. So you can't be top 6 in my fantasy in points if you give me 6 touchdowns.
Well, you have
he's going to get more touchdowns this year.
Points per reception.
I'm just saying he's going to double his touchdowns this year. Double them.
It remains to be seen. Like, the thing for me about Amon-Ra St. Brown, it just remains to be seen to be a superstar. Because even the stuff that I'm naming in college, you look at it right now, 3 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 750, 1,000. Like, to take that next step, I'm waiting to see that special step. The guys that you just named are special, and you left out some special wide receivers that you didn't mention. You got to be special. Even CeeDee Lamb, who I don't understand for the life of me the last couple of years in the NFL, they've been arguing if he's a number 1 wide receiver or not. He was special at Oklahoma, and he was special with his 1,500 yards last year. So I definitely don't know what his ceiling is, but he hasn't got to that special stage yet. But
there's only 3 wide receivers last year that caught double-digit touchdowns.
Right.
Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and A.J. Brown.
But the guys that are right up underneath, they've done it before multiple times, so they're capable of it. The guys that I'm naming. It's no slight to Amon-Ra St. Brown if I don't have him in my top 10. Not at all. It's not a slight. This is going into the season. Now, next season, at the end of the season, how we rank these guys. We'll see what they do. That'll be interesting.
I just think this guy is the total package. Like if you could draw up like an AI version of what you would want in a player, it feels like this guy is it. You know, he is quick. He does have speed. He's got great hands. Only DeAndre Hopkins had better hands than him over the last 2 years. You know, it seems like he's all about football. He wants to be great. It is, and you would be able to tell me this more than anybody, Braylon, but it's not just enough to have the talent. You have to want to be great. And I think one of the things that Hard Knocks gave us, and some of the things that social media gives us, is a glimpse inside somebody, what's inside of them. Yeah. And he does, when you look inside, it does feel like he's just got this uncontrollable will to be great, and he's going to do anything in his power to be number one. He might not ever be better than Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or Devontae Adams or something like that, but he's not going to stop working until he is that guy. So for me, I think the ceiling on him is limitless.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You know, I think everyone has a ceiling. We'll see what his ceiling is. And look, you guys are Lions fans. It's easy for you guys to attach onto a player, especially when a player is doing the things that he's supposed to be doing, like Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing. I refuse to come on here and try to talk down on what Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing just to prove my point. I don't think he's a top 10 wide receiver, and that's my opinion. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I have facts to support it. But he is major for the Detroit Lions. He is major for what they can do. Last year you saw when he was on, the team was on. So I'm excited to see what that ceiling could be. Look, he's not a burner, but he's quick. He has some of the best hands in the NFL. He understands how to play the game, especially in this system, man. He understands his work. It's going to be fun to watch. Like, it's going to be a journey. I can't wait to take it. But
can I ask you a question about wide receiver? What is there a metric that you consider more than any other for receivers? Hold your thought. Is it receptions? Is it targets? Is it yards? Is it yak? Is it touchdowns? What is that metric that you look at first when it comes to a wide receiver and how good they can be? We'll get to that next. Plus news from around the NFL. Saquon Barkley is in camp. You guys called that yesterday, but first a message from Randy.
All right, Wise. Let's go, guys. You know, stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. How about this? VIP transportation to one of Michigan's best tracks. How about a tasty steaks afterwards? Compliments of fairway packing. It's all good. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Challenge. Hey, make your wise decision. Get to a Randy Wise today for your chance to play golf like a celebrity.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more, servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more, visit OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground. All right, Braylon, just in terms of looking at the wide receiver position, like when I look at a quarterback, one of the first stats I look at is touchdown to interception ratio. Does this guy throw touchdowns? Does he turn the ball over? When I look at running backs, I'm looking at yards, right? I mean, running back yards is one of those things, that 1,000-yard marker, yada, yada. Very rarely do you see that anymore. Is there one stat that you look at more than any other when you are judging a wide receiver?
I just look at touchdowns, yards per catch, and I look at catches. One of those things. The big thing about this, the reason why I look at touchdowns, you want somebody that can affect the game. When you're looking at ranking wide receivers or ranking any position, how do you affect the game? And wide receivers, touchdowns are how you affect the game. So I look at how often do guys score touchdowns. Devontae Adams is a guy, he averages 12 touchdowns a year. Last year he led the league with 14. The year before that he was 15. The year before that he was 13. Like, I look at guys that have touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, boy got an end zone. Often and often. You look at Justin Jefferson, not a lot of touchdowns, but he gives you so many yards, which means he's good at extending the play, extending drives. If guys don't get touchdowns, I look at first downs. How many first downs is a guy getting? How often are you extending the drive, the yards per catch thing? I look at guys that have a lot of catches but don't have a lot of production. I'm like, that means, I'll give you an example. Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Stephon Diggs. I know these wide receivers, if I put them just out there and they're the only weapon on the team, they'll still find ways to make plays. Like, they're still going to find ways to make plays and get off. You look back in the day, Randy Moss, it didn't matter who was on the other side. T.O. didn't matter who was on the other side. So a lot of times when I'm looking for the top 5 or the top 7, I'm looking for guys that fit those bills. And then everything else comes into play.
Very good.
For me. So you got to be able to change the game with the least amount of passes. If you're getting 116 catches, what are you doing with those 116 catches? How many yards are you getting with 116 catches? How many touchdowns are you getting with 116 catches? How many first downs are you getting with 116 catches? That's kind of how I look at it.
Very good. Good stuff there. Something to keep an eye on for you if you're watching or listening or when you watch the Lions. It's a good one to point to. Braylon, Teddy Bridgewater was in yesterday, checking things out again in Allen Park again. Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about possibly adding Teddy Bridgewater to the quarterback room.
I don't think I've hidden anything about my feelings for Teddy Bridgewater. So if we can add a guy like Teddy and bring competition to the room, I'm all for
it. Why does a guy like that leave, though? You know what I mean? If you brought him here yesterday, how do you let him leave? You know, we all think Teddy Bridgewater would be an upgrade at the position. There's not a team in the National Football League right now that probably doesn't want Teddy Bridgewater to be their backup quarterback, right? I mean, everybody wants Teddy Bridgewater right now. He did come here. I would love to see a deal get done some way, somehow.
When I was trying out for the Seahawks in 2012, flew up from Miami to Seattle. And for those of you that know your geography, it's a long-ass flight. Flew from Miami to Seattle, land, and then, go over to the practice facility, Ryan Ermanni. Let me get in the sauna, steam, get ready, get loosened up because I had to work out. This is a tryout. Tryout for him is myself. Speaking of T.O., it was myself, it was T.O., and it was Antonio Bryant. So we try out for the Seattle Seahawks. And then after that, it's all right, we appreciate it. It was a good workout. We'll take you back over there. So they took me up to see Brian Snyder for a minute, talked to him, sat down and talked to him, see what he was about, see what the Seattle Seahawks plan was. And then he said, okay, we'll take you back to the hotel and we'll see how this thing plays out. They didn't tell me that they wanted me right then and there, or they didn't tell me that I was the guy. They didn't tell me that they were signing me right then and there on that piece of paper for that team in that situation. So shoot, I made a reservation to go to Vegas. Like, I was like, all right, bet. So I, went back to the hotel, hit a quick flight plan, went to Vegas, left Vegas, went back to Miami. And my agent hit me when I was in Miami, like, what are you doing? They wanted you. Well, should let me know that. They let me leave, so I left. And then obviously I ended up going back to Seattle after I took a day to get myself back together. But went back to Seattle, but they didn't let me know in that moment that they wanted me. They let me walk out that door because they were trying to figure out something else. And I'm not saying this that they don't want Teddy Bridgewater, but there's something that they're trying to figure out. Does it work? Either it's the money. Maybe is it too much money that we're going to have to pay him? Is it another guy that we've got in our sights that we don't know if it's this guy or that guy? But something, let him walk out the door. And maybe they're hoping that they can get him again. So it's not a thing where it's on him or him per se. It could be that he was looking for them to make them sign him and not allow him to leave. And they didn't. So he left. And that's the same thing happened in Seattle. They didn't make me stay. And I'm looking at T.O. and I'm looking at Antonio Brown. I'm like, they didn't say anything, so it is what it is. I'm out. But then they called me back later, so we'll see how it plays out.
Hey, man, they like Nate Sudfeld, too. They do like him, and he's very inexpensive. Teddy Bridgewater is expensive, and a lot has happened since last year when he came here. They drafted Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker,
that's a good point.
He's going to be their guy eventually. I believe that. I don't think they draft him and waste the third-round pick on him if they don't think he could turn out to be a good pro quarterback. I don't think they signed Teddy Bridgewater. I think he goes somewhere where he knows that he could play eventually somewhere. I think they're sticking with Suds.
I would caution the Detroit Lions. Now, I said I understand what may be going on, but I would caution the Detroit Lions because we've talked about this before, and Dan Campbell knows this firsthand from being in the Saints with Teddy Bridgewater. When he gets filled in there, he wins games. Whether it was with Carolina, found them some wins. Whether it was with the Saints, he found them some wins. Whether it was the Broncos, he found them some wins. I think they started 5-0 or 4-1 2 years ago. So he can find wins. The Lions are in a unique position, okay? Hendon Hooker's not playing this season. Hendon Hooker's not going to play this year, and even if he does play, you talk about injured, he's an injured quarterback coming in for his first year. Nate's up, we don't know much about him. The Lions are in a situation where they can win the NFC, they should win the NFC North, and they have a real chance to challenge to get to the NFC game, the NFC title game. You got to put a guy in there, and you don't want to make plan B your plan A. But you got to have a strong plan B. If something were to happen, I won't even say it out loud because I don't want to utter those words.
Don't.
But you know where I'm going. You got to have a situation in place that the season's not over if that were to ever happen. And Teddy B is a guy with what you have on your team, the draft picks that you've done, what you picked up in the offseason and free agency, what you've done to this team. You got a team where you could still win this division with Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback. You still could win a first-round game with Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback. You got to have it. Now, do I trust Hendon Hooker in that same position? No. Do I, as you're wearing Tennessee today, I love it. Do I trust Nate Sudfeld in that position? No. You know why? Because I don't have it on film. But I got Teddy Bridgewater on film, so that's one thing you got to be mindful of. May cost a little money, but where would you want to be in December if you're in that situation? You want a guy that's battle-proven.
Hey, look, none of us, not one human being, wants to carry insurance. They don't want to pay for car insurance. They don't want to pay for homeowners insurance.
But you have it.
But you have to. It's literally taking money and throwing it out the window 99% of the time. But we need it just in case. So, Braylon, I will spend the money and sign Teddy Bridgewater.
Smart man.
There is no doubt about it. Not one person on the face of the universe believes that the Detroit Lions backup quarterback situation is better with Nate Sudfeld over Teddy Bridgewater. Not even somebody who's drunk and doesn't know anything about football.
Not even Nate Sudfeld's dad.
Not even Nate Sudfeld's wife. Or dad, or brother, or sister,
or himself.
Or himself. There you
Thinks
go.
that he is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. If there is one position, we talk about this all the time, that there is no perfect roster in the NFL. I feel like the backup quarterback position is the one spot on this team that could be improved significantly. I don't think there's a position anywhere that you can add a player that would just be a significant upgrade to that position within reason. And I think that this would be a significant upgrade, Teddy Bridgewater over Nate Sudfeld. And I heard Dan Campbell, I think it was yesterday, talking about the backup quarterback position and he was like, "Now we like Nate. Now we like Nate." Yeah. And you want to make sure with your backup quarterback that they can get into all the formations, that they can line up right, that they can call a good play. We're not even talking about anything to do with performance. We're talking about being in the right play, getting in the right play call, having the right coverage, reading, where the mic backer is. You know what I mean? Like having the ability to get the team in the right situation just before the play is called, before the actual football athleticism is shown. Just put your guys in the right position. That was what he was talking about with Nate Sudfeld. And he was comfortable that he would be able to do that if...
That's good. He could be on the practice squad.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
My goodness.
Now you need a guy. You need a guy. You need a dude.
And it is a year 2 for him now under the same thing. So give him a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, David Blau had 2 years too.
Yeah, you're right.
And to quote Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy, he is a dude.
Right.
Like Teddy Bridgewater is a dude. He's a dude that gets it done. You got to have a dude. And you also got to have a dude that understands the complexity of what this team has gone through from 13-1 to now being a team that's challenging for the NFC North. And through Dan Campbell in that relationship, he understands all that as well. That's another major piece. He understands that you want a team that knows this team. I think he does.
Guys, I want to go around the NFL next, including Saquon Barkley. He has signed. He is in camp. We'll get Maz's take. And Braylon's too, but first the message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey gang, Strawberry Fest is back. It's the summer. It's continuing at Big Boy. Get down there. Start your day with a great breakfast, the strawberry hotcakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. If it's a little bit after breakfast for you, how about that strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or the refreshing summer splash salad? And those desserts are to die for. You got it, the classic strawberry pie. Throw a little fresh whipped cream on that. How about the mouth-watering vanilla Oreos, the deep-fried vanilla Oreos, or the strawberry hot fudge cake, or you can just order a Big Boy at your local Big Boy.
WoodwardSports.com. Hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. How about that? Hit that like button for us. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. We would certainly appreciate that.
I hit it every day, by the way.
Thank you very much. I hit it too. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. However you're watching Woodward Sports or listening, doing the audio only perhaps, we appreciate it. Tom Mazawey, let's go around the NFL. Big happenings today with your New York Football Giants.
And what did I tell you guys last week? I told you Saquon Barkley will sign with the New York Giants. He did. He signed with the New York Giants. Braylon, he got himself $11 million if he hits all his bonuses. He got $2 million up front, and he increases next year's tag. But did he turn his back on his fellow brother running backs? And I want to put up the tweet from the running backs now. They had the Zoom call. They were all going to stick together. They were all going to band together, band of brothers. They were going to start talking about, how about we start exaggerating injuries? fellas.
So let me read the report. During the running back Zoom call, the star-studded group of running backs discussed the idea of exaggerating injuries when locked into a contract standoff with their team. This is from Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. The meeting was in conjunction with the NFLPA and was organized by Austin Eckler and intended by McCaffrey, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. It names all the running backs that were there. Should we exaggerate injuries? Today Saquon signs.
The first thing, when I saw that, when I very first saw that, I said, I don't understand why you would say that out loud. I don't understand why you. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Get sued.
Well, it's Austin Eckler.
100%, and however you say his name, he was wrong for that, and they were wrong for agreeing that. You put that in the chat, they put that out there, and now they know that you're faking. So even if you are really injured, now they think you're faking. It's the dumbest thing I heard. Now going to Saquon, you may have said it last week, Maz, but I said it 3 weeks ago. It's because Saquon went to Penn State University. Didn't I say that? I said Saquon Barkley is a team guy. He went to, it says, we are Penn State. It doesn't say I am Penn State. I knew he was a guy that didn't want to put himself in front of his teammates like that, and they played on that. The New York Giants signed bum-ass Daniel Jones to that huge deal. They didn't pay the guy that made their team work on the offense. The Giants were more efficient when Saquon's on the field. Take him off the field, they were horrible. Look at the numbers, they proved that. But they didn't want to pay Saquon because of the injuries. Now Saquon's forced to be in a situation, let's do the Austin Eckler Zoom calls. Let's do this and let's talk about kumbaya and brotherhood. And this is what we're going to do if they tell them. We're going to stick it to him. They saying that they put that deal in front of his face, and Saquon Barkley had to start thinking about some real things. Damn, I was hurt my second year. Damn, I was hurt my third year. Damn, I was hurt my fourth year. I even had instances last year where I almost came off that field. Can y'all put in the bonus? Can you make sure I at least get $2 million? Can you somehow bump it up to 11 to make me think that I've done something? There was an episode of, I want to say, South Park, where Canada was trying to get some money from the United States for they were tied up in negotiations.
They're always ahead of everything.
100%. They were tied up in negotiations for 6 months, and it got to the point where Canada's infrastructure had failed, had faltered. They had nothing going for themselves, and they finally said, you know what? See if we can just get some Bennigan's coupons. Just something. Just something. They settled for some Bennigan's coupons just to give.
It's a great restaurant in Ann Arbor.
100%.
We loved Bennigan's.
They used to shut down and throw parties on Thursday nights.
Are they still around?
No. I don't know. There was one in Ann Arbor that was great.
Them and Shoney's, they're out of here. But they just wanted to get a win somehow, and I think that's what Saquon Barkley wanted. He wanted to win somehow, and they put this in front of his face. He had no other choice, because if he doesn't sign this, now he's going to sit out because they don't have to pay him. They don't have to pay any running back. And now it's him versus the players. It's him versus the city of New York. He knew he was in a horrible situation, but here's the thing. You ask why the NFLPA is the worst one. It's because it's 61 guys, and there's always the next man up. If Saquon didn't sign that contract, they'd have put the next running back up. He would have been a Le'Veon Bell casualty of war. When I say Le'Veon Bell, crazy thing about it, 2016, Le'Veon Bell turned down 2 years, $31 million.
Wow.
And just think about what they're offering Saquon, Josh Jacobs today. 16, he was offered 2 years, $31 million.
That's incredible.
That's what we got to the running back position. So they put Saquon against Saquon, and I'll leave you with this. It was a quote from North Dallas 40, which I know you love, a Nick Nolte movie, old school football movie.
Davis.
100%. The character, and I had to look it up for you, man, so I got the character right. John Mustasiak, a.k.a. O.W. Shattuck, was his name in the movie. Every time I call it business, you call it a game. Every time I call it a game, you call it business.
Beautiful, man. And that was obviously filtered around the Dallas Cowboys back in those days. But I want to tell you this. You think Saquon kind of got spooked a little when he saw the Austin Eckler, the tweets coming out, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Maybe he, just like we said, that's a dumb thing to put out there. Maybe he said, I got to get away from these guys. I'm going down the tubes. I need some money.
I don't know if he got spooked, man. I just think it's bad business. Look, what's better, 11 million or no million? This isn't a player that's been like, he's got 100, this isn't like an NBA player, a baseball player that's got 100 million in the bank that can just go out here all willy-nilly and take some stand and not accept $11 million. That's a lot of money. Is it not as much money as that position used to make? Yes, but $11 million is $11 million more than nothing. And that's what he was in danger of getting. And every year you don't play football, yes, it takes a toll on your body. But is there a team in the NFL, just one team, is there one team in the NFL that is signing Saquon Barkley next year to more than $11 million?
No, there is
not one.
There's not one.
Can I show you something now?
Yeah.
The Giants tried to trade Saquon Barkley a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, back in March when they franchise tagged him. Saquon's agent reached out to the Giants and say, start shopping me around. They did it about 12 to 14 teams. No one bit.
So, again, this player was also backed into a corner. It was, whether it was a Le'Veon Bell type thing or not, you get $11 million to play for the Giants this year. If you get tagged next year, it's going to be a year 2 tag. So you have the opportunity to make upwards of $23-24 million in a 2-year time frame. There are only 2 running backs in football that make more than that right now. That's about right for Saquon Barkley.
It's about right, but
it's only 1 year.
Yeah, but at the same time, look, he didn't have any negotiation power,
Right.
and I think it's
Exactly.
and I think it sucks that I think it sucks that he didn't negotiate for next year in the franchise tag, because next year he still could get franchised, which means he could be in this situation for 3 years in a row. That's the one thing I think that ultimately sucks about the deal. But Ryan, you hit the nail on the head. It's money. You need money. Ryan, not only is he a 5th-year or a 6-year player now, he's a running back. He's a running back. He didn't get that huge money as a quarterback. He didn't get that huge money as a left tackle or defensive end coming out as a rookie. He's a running back. You got to put some dollars in your pocket. But you know what he's also banking on? That's another reason why he signed that deal. A lot of those guys on them Zoom calls, Derrick Henry was on the Zoom call. Oh, Derrick Henry got paid already. Alvin Kamara was floating around. Alvin Kamara got paid already. Christian McCaffrey, he's lobbying too. Christian McCaffrey got paid already. This guy hasn't gotten his money yet, and also he's in New York. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I look at it like this. Look, I got to get paid. I got to figure this out, and we'll come to this bridge next year. But, hey, if I come out and I do what I'm supposed to like I did last year, here's New York. I can also make some money off the field. I can also get my sponsorship dollars up, and that's the other smart thing about it. Get on that field so you keep your brand going.
Can we talk about this a little bit more? I want to continue this on a little bit because I think Saquon Barkley really, really did the right thing for him. And let's continue this on next. But first, a message from Dispo.
All right, we will be out there this Friday. You know what time it is. Romeo location this Friday. All 4 of our shows will be there, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Brace yourself for an unforgettable journey. 12 locations in the state of Michigan. They have expanded even since we started working with them, 21 and up. Medical, non-existent, rec only, but it's the fun place that has all the brands that you love. Hyman, Runts, and all the others. We'll see you Friday at Dispo Romeo.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady James today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady James, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports, driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back to Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. And we were talking about Saquon Barkley, and one of the things that's advantageous to him as well, Tom, is I don't think fans are really fickle, man. Fans are either with you or fans are against you. And especially in New York, you never want those fans to turn against you. Braylon probably could speak to that more than anything. If the fans are with you in New York, man, they will always be with you. If the fans are against you in New York, it is going to take, you're going to have to go to hell and back to get them back on board, if that's even possible. So for Saquon Barkley to really get into camp on day 2 and not have this thing become sports talk radio in New York, taking phone calls. Yes, caller from the Bronx, you're on the air with whoever. Oh, Saquon sucks. What a selfish guy. Oh, get back in camp. You know, that's not what the market dictates. He kept the fans on his side, and that's very important moving forward, as you said, Braylon, to endorsement deals and being in television and all this stuff moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you don't want to piss the New York fan base off. I piss a lot of fan bases off, including my own, University of Michigan. 100%. Sometimes everybody doesn't agree with you, but the one smart thing I never did, never pissed off that New York fan base. I can always go back to New York and to be 100% love, and I love that. I appreciate that I had that foresight. Saquon just helped himself out a lot in New York, and you hit the nail on the head because it's about the fans. It's about them representing the G-man. It's what they're thinking about. He made himself a little more money. He did it with a 1-year deal, which means he'll be able to come back next year, and yes, he'll be another toll in his body. He'll be right back in this position. But it'll also help deals, you say, off the field. People look at him as a loyal guy. People look at him as a guy that you can count on, guy that you can depend on. Hey, you know what? Look, he wanted some more money. He was owed some more money, or deserves some more money. He was able to make that happen in a span that still got him to camp on time, still got their dreams of being in the NFC Championship and getting to the Super Bowl on schedule. So he helped himself a lot. It sucks that he had to negotiate against himself. That sucks that he didn't get the money that he's deserving of. But at the same time, he got a little bit more money, put himself in a situation to help himself out next year with the fans and in that city. So he did, look, he got lemons and he made lemonade. Like that, simply put, he got lemons, he made lemonade. It's the best he can do. And I just wish that this year, I hope he's up for MVP. Like, I hope he's up for Offensive Player of the Year. Like, I hope he's one of those players. I mean, I hope it's not against the Lions, but I hope he puts himself in good contention to get paid and get taken care of next year. If it's not with the Giants, then screw the Giants. It'd be somebody else.
All that being said, I do believe the New York Giants fall back this year.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I do believe the Giants fall back this year.
That's why they gave him a little something.
Hey, the good thing for Lion fans, the good thing for that, you get to see Saquon Barkley next week when the Giants come to town, you know, in August, the beginning of August, when they have the dual practice with the Lions. So get your Saquon cards ready.
One of the things with it, you know, the USA Today came out with their record predictions of all 32 NFL teams, and they have the New York Giants actually being the 3rd worst team in the NFC. Only 2 teams in the NFC have a worse expected record, according to them, than the New York Giants. Tampa Bay at 5-12 and Arizona at 2-15. Ironically enough, they have the Lions winning the division by 4 games.
But who else said that?
Something?
Who else said that?
No. But also, look what they have. They have exactly what you said. They got the Bears, Packers, and Vikings all 7 wins. That's what you call it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said 6, 7, or 8 wins.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a team in the Lions division that has more than 8 wins. All 3 teams will have a losing record in this. And if you look at this over here,
they got the 4th best record.
Ladies and gentlemen, the San Francisco 49ers just got better. Breaking news today that Brock Purdy has been cleared. He will have no restrictions after undergoing offseason elbow surgery. Not even going to start the year on the PUP list. Purdy beat the timeline he was given. He is ready to go. San Francisco just got a whole hell of a lot better. They immediately have to go to the favorite, I think.
But I love it. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, everyone kept asking, Is Brock Purdy the quarterback? Well, he's hurt. He's not going to be the guy. It's not going to be Sam Darnold. He sucks anyway. Well, it's not going to be this guy. Well, what about Trey Lance? Gotta listen to the players. George Kittle came out and was talking, and was it
I remember that. You're right about that.
And I said it, George Kittle, they asked him point blank period. I was Colin Cowherd. Who's the quarterback? He said he didn't hesitate. He said as fast as he could. He said Brock Purdy. Actually leaned back when he said it. When these guys tell us that are on the same team as these players, we got to listen to him. George Kittle said that he was going to be the quarterback back then. We knew that he was going to be the quarterback. So I'm excited, man. Like, now we get a chance to see, was that 8-0? Like, was it because of the teams, or was it helped because of Brock Purdy? So now, Ryan and Ermanni, who are the top 2 teams in the NFC by your thoughts?
I think San Francisco is. I think there's 3 now. I think what's going to happen between Dallas and Philadelphia is very unique.
Right.
I do think Philly comes down and Dallas elevates. I just for the math of it alone, for the history of it alone, I think Dallas elevates and Philadelphia comes down. I don't think there's much way for Philadelphia to go up. I think it is going to take some time for them to get going. I think they will ultimately get going, but it will be too late. I think Dallas takes that division. Did you know that the Detroit Lions, if you look in Vegas, they have the best odds to win the division championship? You know how I always say,
you've been saying that for a minute.
Yeah, how I always say, like, I'm more confident in Detroit
than the Chiefs
winning the division than any other team in
It was
football.
the Jags.
It was the Jags. Now it's the Chiefs. Now it's the Lions.
Look at the Chiefs and the Broncos.
What I tell you about Denver.
Look at the AFC North, what they have. They got 4 winners in the AFC North.
Yeah.
I think they need to switch their winners. I can't wait till we do our division picks.
You know what this tells you?
It's gonna be a good season.
This is going to be a hell of a season with redemption stories like crazy. You've got Deshaun Watson for Cleveland. You've got Russell Wilson and Sean Payton in Denver. You've got Justin Herbert playing for his life for the Chargers.
With Kellen Moore now as offensive coordinator.
With Kellen Moore. You've got DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee. You've got Kenny Pickett in year 2 with Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing season, and they're expected to win double-digit games. You've got Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. And that's just in the AFC. This football season is going to be spectacular. Must-see television each and every week.
They got the Chargers at 7-10.
I got a stat for you that you love.
What is it? Let me tell you. Let me hear it.
You said the AFC. You always talk about quarterback play. You always talk about the AFC is definitely the top conference, and they are. AFC starting quarterbacks, 14 of the 15 are first-round picks.
Yep, and that's something.
14 of the 15 are first-round picks, and the one that wasn't is a second-round pick. I think it's
Raiders. Garoppolo is a second-round pick, right?
Exactly, Garoppolo, second-round pick. Everybody else first-round pick.
And that's something.
It's a gauntlet.
I can't believe they have the Chiefs at 7 losses. How are the Chiefs going to lose 7 games? That ain't no way in hell the Chiefs are going to lose 7 games.
The Chiefs don't always go undefeated, you know. So I mean, hey.
Hey, speaking of the Chiefs,
I think go ahead.
Go because I was going to.
Mine's just quick. It's just that, Maz, the reason why I think you see for the Chiefs 7 losses. Now I don't think they're going to lose 7 either. I think 5 is about right, and maybe 4. But the NFL is now played kind of like the NBA, where like it's not where you play off some nights because guys are hanging out late. You can lose some games. Like you see, NFL teams don't necessarily worry about winning all the NFL games anymore. They worry about winning the playoffs, and when they get to the playoffs, that playoff level changes. I mean, look at the Chiefs and the Colts last year. I mean, look at the Chiefs and the Titans last year. Like I think now more you won't see teams try to be perfect. Teams aren't looking to be 16-0. Teams are looking to be healthy in January.
They got the Bills and the Eagles as the only 2 buys. The teams with the best record. They'll have a home field advantage. That's it. The Bills and the Eagles. Everyone else is fighting for their lives.
Could this be the year Patrick Mahomes gets dethroned? And the reason why I asked that question, what's been Patrick Mahomes' deal? The whole time he's been in the playoffs, he's had what? Home field advantage. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't the best way to unseat Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs be to have the best record in the NFL this year?
No doubt.
And force him to come on the road for the first time in his career?
No doubt.
Keep an eye on that, because if I'm the AFC, I'm trying to get the #1 seed. Like, I'm trying to win every game so that the Chiefs have to go on the road.
You know what this says, too, is complete domination by the AFC. Almost every time they play an NFC team, they're expected to win.
Yep.
10 of this, if I counted this correctly.
Well, yeah, we have all losers in our division except the Lions.
10 of the 16 teams in the AFC will win double-digit games. And 11 of the 16 teams will have winning records.
Yep.
That is insane.
Yep.
Guys, I got to get a break in. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. You can order online at fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com.
Source, aged, prime, cut, packed to perfection.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey guys, I just wanted to make sure we did not leave the show here today without acknowledging the cardiac arrest suffered by Bronny James at practice yesterday.
Unbelievable.
He is out of the ICU, thankfully. But here is the quote from the statement from the James family. Yesterday, while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family and will update media when there is more information. LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes, end quote. That's the statement from the James family. Just incredible, unspeakable. You can't even imagine it. Just thank goodness he is out of the ICU and doing okay.
First thing I did is I made sure it wasn't a fake tweet.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Oh, shoot, yeah. It's hard to tell nowadays with Twitter and tweeting X and whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called now.
Did you peep that? Twitter's X now?
Yeah.
Maz told me that on Monday. It's like, what is X?
Yeah, it's X. It's the everything app. But nonetheless, I mean, my goodness. Not going to speculate anything about it. Just wanted to point it out there that it did happen. I'm sure there will be more stories about it. You're going to have to sift through what's real and what's not on your own pretty much, because there is so much out there now. Everybody's got an opinion. And again, just wait for the facts to come out. And just we wish Bronny the absolute best and hope that he is okay and can move on and live out his dreams as best he can. Just want to put that out there.
All right, be fine. He's got the best out there. USC has great medical schools. It'd be cool.
All right. Tigers tonight as well. They get the Angels. Shohei Ohtani.
Show me the money.
Absolutely.
They don't get to see him pitch, though.
He's not pitching.
He's not pitching these 3 games, which I was surprised about. I thought he was due up, but Obviously, they're going to hold them until this series is over. They probably didn't want to waste them on the Tigers. So, he might have thrown a no-hitter against us. That might have been fun to watch. But
so that last graphic, the Tigers did win yesterday, 5-2-1. Shout out to them against San Francisco
They
Giants.
Completed their sweep of San Francisco like a month later.
Yeah, from
with the
April.
rain
I
delay.
think that game was in April.
That was a ways back, but they got the sweep, and they won 2 in a row. They were 5-2 coming in.
Lions fans.
They were 4-4 now on their homestand, so 9-6 after the All-Star break.
No, they haven't played 15 games since the All-Star break.
5-2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4. 7-4 since the break.
They were 5-2. You're right, 7-4. 2-2.
Yeah,
not 4-4. 2-2 on the homestand.
7-4 since the break.
Correct.
They've got 3 with Los Angeles, 3 with Miami, and then that's it. What did I say? They needed to go 12-5.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be serious. Unfortunately, they've lost 2 games. They've gone 7-4, and they've dropped 2 games because Minnesota is so hot now.
Yeah.
Minnesota's won 8 of 10.
Eduardo Rodriguez pitches tonight. He is obviously the name that's out there that some teams are after. Michael Lorenzo is pitching in a couple of days. He's another name that's out there that teams want. We talked to Dan Dickerson last week, and he kind of said, hey, it's kind of hard to see this kid do well, and then you're going to get rid of him. But the Tigers are going to have to make some moves here. Tigers are going to have to make some decisions coming up this week. Trade deadline August 1st.
On August 7th, right, just 7 days after the trade deadline, they host Minnesota for 4.
I know.
You know what I mean?
You got to hang in there.
It feels like if you could move that Minnesota series up a week, at least you could really be able to dictate a little bit better what you should do. Should you go for that? But 7 games feels a little bit daunting, but they do play Minnesota 6 times in August. So I don't freaking know.
Who knows?
6 ass whoopings.
Who knows?
They waited too long.
Right. Jaylen Brown got a supermax contract with Boston.
Oh, good for him. Now they got
$300+ million to. That's the highest contract in the NBA right now.
Yep,
now I say.
2 guys making $275+ million and ultimately aren't going to amount to a hill of beans because when it comes to the finals next year, they won't be in it.
Boom. I think they will.
I know they won't. I'll go so far as to say I know they won't.
Who do you like in the East? Just off Milwaukee. They got Chris Middleton back.
I'm gonna do you a better one. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
West wins it.
West wins it.
Well, on that note, very good.
Very good.
I got nothing left.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I've been talking since 2 o'clock. I'm done. Maz, you get us out of here.
Get us out of here, Tom Mazawey. Get us out of here,
All
big guy.
right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Ermanni Edwards and me, Maz, with Parker, and of course JB. We got plenty more coming up tomorrow.
You going to the park this week?
I was going to go tonight,
Thursday?
but I'm bowling. I was invited.
Oh my gosh,
bowling night tonight.
It's coming down to the wire,
Last
man.
3 weeks, we got to win them all.
What do you need?
Got to win them all, man. Got to win them all.
You going to get any turkeys tonight?
I'm going to get a lot of turkeys
any
tonight.
4-baggers?
I'm feeling good. I'm going to get like a 700 series tonight, I hope.
Oh, man.
Keep my fingers crossed. But we got lots of Lions news coming back tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed for J-Mo to get healthy. And, of course, thank you to the football gods for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. His injury is not as bad as we had once thought it was. Tigers and Angels tonight. Go see Shohei and the Tigers.
Mel Tucker tomorrow, Big Ten Media Day at
boy.
11:30. So we'll talk about the Spartans program.
And our new T-shirt, Free Harbs, is coming out tomorrow right here on Woodward Sports. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
See ya.